Hello and good morning, everyone. Only Positivity here. I have my coffee with me, ready to explore this new phase of life with you all. So, over the past few years, I have gained a whole new perspective on life, and I've realized that life is too short to not be enjoying yourself while doing great things. So, come along with me as I explore this new lens through fitness, photography, reading, traveling, cannabis, and much more. Looking forward to the journey, guys, and remember, only positivity. Alrighty, boss. And we are live here with Chad. Tell me how you pronounce your last name, man.
Silacci.
Chad Silacci from Rustique Wines.
Yep.
Man, I'm super excited to do this today, man. Thank you again for joining me, man. How you feeling today?
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
Weather's beautiful out here. Got yeah.
I'm so
Living
envious of
life.
that, man. I'm so envious of that property that you got out there, dude.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a good spot. It's a good spot.
Definitely, man. I just made a little bit so we were back out there in April. And I took a bunch of videos of your property and I just threw down on a little reel on Instagram, man. So
Oh, sweet.
yeah, I'm hoping folks will go, dude. They need to check out your property, bro. It's a really, really good gem out there.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. We're trying to create a safe, fun spot out here for everybody to come check out the wine scene. We got a lot of music and other things going on. We just booked our first comedy show, so
Dude, I
kind of
saw that some
shaking
stand-up coming
things
up.
up out here. Yeah,
Dude, are you gonna open up for that or anything like that? Or is that not your area of expertise?
I'd have to work on it a little bit more. Yeah.
I feel you, man. I feel you. Well, hey, I figured, like I said, you're a busy guy. I figured we can just jump right in. I love asking questions about like entrepreneurs like yourselves and to kind of get into your brain and understanding like some of your reasonings behind what you do and, just like how you perfect your craft, man. Does that sound good?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool, cool. Well, so as we start here, man, I was taking a look at the website, and by the way, dope website, man. Whoever's working on that it's clutch.
Thank you.
Um, so I'm seeing that I was talking to you a little about this when we first connected back in April, and I know this is a family-owned thing, right? It's been a generational thing. So tell me, like high level, a little bit about that. How has it stayed in the family for so long, and how does like generation after generation, you guys like incentivize and rationalize the mission that everything is going behind?
Totally. So I feel like we are the newest addition to this property. So going back into even the 1800s, the property was bought by the Sargenti family.
Hmm.
Um, so basically, all of Salinas in the foothills here, it was dairy farms, and you know everybody started to migrate over here. Um, they started dairy farms, which they were doing you know in Europe, specifically the Swiss Italians, the Sargentis, as well as the Slacci's came from Creeple, Switzerland,
Okay.
um, and just started doing the same thing they were doing over back home here. So Sargenti's origin, or I guess they were renting the land for quite a few years
Hmm.
and officially bought it in like 1910, somewhere around then.
Sure.
Um, Built the barn that is the barn that I'm sitting in 1919. Had a full uh, dairy farm right here, so they had it for about 6 to 7 generations within their family, and then my great grandmother uh, was a Sargenti, so there was a little bit of family tie there on
Yeah.
my dad's side, and he went into the property, started buying small percentages of it, and that was kind of the tie that he had with his friends to start chipping in and getting the property. So
Yeah.
officially bought it in 91 with the partners, and then bought the majority of the partners out in '07, '08. So
Wow.
yeah.
Really, really cool, man. I'm honestly, I'm sure I mean, you this is your day to day, but I'm super happy that it was able to stay in like a family realm for that long, like when you see businesses and their growth and things like that, they often, will go a very franchise like routes, or will get tossed around, get sold and things like that. But there's a little something deeper within, it seems like, where you guys have like the heart to just hold on to it and make it go and go and go. And the growth over the years must be really fulfilling for you to see, I'm sure.
Definitely. And even the Sargentis that still remain, that grew up on this property, come out and give us old, like, you know, farm relics, stuff from the barns, the creameries, and they're really happy that we're like doing something positive. Um, but this community out here in Salinas, California is pretty special as well.
Yeah.
Uh, like we are not the only ranch that is like this. Most of the ranches are multi-generational, like long-term family owned pieces of land, and it keeps the authenticity out here. So
That's
it's a pretty
awesome.
special place.
Yeah, there's another vineyard up the road, right? I believe, is it Eric is one of the workers there?
Yeah,
What
Odonata wines.
yeah, is it, you said Odonata?
Odonata, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, I believe you guys work together. Like is it like you work together on like wine techniques, or is it like business stuff? How's that partnership looking?
So Dennis, Dennis and Claire Hoey are the owners. Dennis is the winemaker, um, and he bought that property in 2014
Okay.
and started making wine for our family. So from 14 to 2020, he's been our winemaker and totally took me under his wing. So
Nice.
has been my mentor for the last 8 years or so,
Wow.
and really taught me a lot about the craft of winemaking. And then as I've you know gone through the years doing the production stuff, then starting my own business, also a business mentor.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think in any business realm or just in life, man, like, I've been finding that it's very important to have somebody who is a little bit more well versed, a little bit farther down the line, and someone who's willing to teach, right? Not necessarily say, "Hey, do it my way," but here's what worked for me, and like brand it for your own. Do your own thing with it, but I'll give you the foundation to kind of grow. Is that kind of what Dennis was doing for you? I don't know exactly what wine mentorship would look like, but as much as you're willing to dive in, man, I'd be very interested to hear more about
Yeah,
that.
no, totally. I mean, it's an honor for him to, and a goal to be a mentor for multiple successful people out here.
Yeah.
um, it's kind of, there's a unique thing there, right, where somewhere we've all had a mentor. And you could have, Dennis is my mentor, he had a mentor who had a mentor, and
Yeah.
it's kind of like this passed down tradition, and it's a pretty cool thing. um but as far as a winemaking mentor, when I first got really into the production of winemaking, um not really knowing all that much, for him to take the time and have the patience, to sit and explain things and have me make mistakes his on his on his craft and his on his product, is it's a risk. And it was just perfect timing. So um
Yeah.
we hit it off, and he was he allowed me to just hang out until he offered me a job. So
Dope, man.
yeah.
That's amazing. He probably saw, as I do, it's like what even the passion that you exude when we talk, it's there. And I'm sure he saw that in you and was like, hey, with a little bit of guidance, a little bit of polish, this kid will like take off. You know what I mean? And I think that's extraordinary. That's inspirational. And coming out of that, is there any sort of, I know you work with your sister very closely, and I'm sure you take her
Mhm.
under your wing and teach her things. Is there anybody like you mentor in the area or just in general?
No, I'm out here. I'm kind of fresh meat. I'm at
I
the
feel
bottom of the totem pole, so I got
sure.
a long ways to go. And
Yeah.
yeah, no, I mean, I still work really closely with Dennis over there.
Yeah.
So I make my wine at his facility still.
Cool.
Um, and we all work together. So there's three of us. Um, Dennis, Francisco Banuelos, who also is a winemaker and has his own label, and then myself, and we're all super close, and it's a really good time.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I love it. I love to hear this type of stuff. And so, going back a little bit further, when you were first starting to take this whole winemaking thing very seriously, and you were like, "Hey, I'm going to make this a career for me." Tell me a little bit more about that. Was there like a path where you're like, "Hey, I could go and get a corporate job, or I could go and start making wine," or was it always like, your parents, because it was a family thing, they're always like, "Hey, this is what you do," and you ended up liking it and like, slingshot it, went forward with it? Just get me into like how you selected this realm to be in.
Yeah, totally. So really, it's always been a lifelong conversation. I think my parents always wanted us to do this, Sarah and I.
Sure.
They wanted to be part of it, but both my sister and I wanted to get out of the town,
Okay.
small town things, get out, go explore, and then maybe come back, maybe not. Who knows? Didn't
Mhm.
really have a um, like hard goals there. Just
Yeah.
knew I wanted to go see what else was out there. And between um, you know, graduating high school and actually going to university, I stuck around the area and went to the community college here,
Okay.
and got a job at Odonata. So
Nice.
was working there. Um, it was pretty much just a beach bum, and thought it was cool to be working at a winery. It was an awesome job. Kind
Yeah.
of taking on a big project with Dennis, stepping in right when he had bought the property. So there's a lot of different projects going on. And I always like kind of that manual labor, cleaning up properties and just building fences and doing things outside with my hands. So, I stuck around and was doing it for a while, but it took about a year for things to really click and start to set in. And
Yeah.
for me to see winemaking as an actual craft. And once
Okay.
I saw it in that light, um, being able to make a craft with so many different variables and the biology and science behind it, it was
Yeah.
it was it was kind of game over. And then found out you could go to school for it, so ended up going to Washington State University for
Okay.
viticulture enology. Was up in southeastern Washington for a couple of years, and then um, came back home and opened the business up. So
Nice. And so that's amazing. And I was going to ask you a little bit more about the craft part of it, but you did go into it. So in terms of like the schooling part of it, like when you were like, "Hey, I'm going to go get some more, training on this." The training itself, was it more into the chemistry and the science behind wine, or was it more like, "Hey, here's how you start a winery and the business part of it," or maybe a combination of both? What did that like skill set development look like?
so that degree was a dual major.
Okay.
So it was viticulture and enology, viticulture being farming, vineyards,
Yeah.
and then enology is pretty much fermentation science.
Cool. That's
So
amazing.
super heavy into horticulture
Yeah.
and biochemistry. So
Nice. Nice. And did you feel like, so you said you started working for Dennis and you were doing the whole, you're the beach bum thing, like you were saying, right?
yeah.
And when you, and by the way, Monterey is an amazing city to be a beach bum in, man. Like there is so much to do there, man. It is like a
It is.
classy
It is.
city, bro. So you learned a lot from Dennis, right? Now, did you feel like, like nothing against Dennis? He's like, from what you've said and what I've heard at Odonata, that dude is brilliant. But did you feel like, hey, there was more to learn out there from what Dennis had given you? Or did you feel like you need to just kind of go strike out and like, get some objective third party knowledge?
I mean, I think there's always more to learn out
Yeah.
there. I think it's a healthy thing to do, to get out of
Mm-hmm.
your comfort zone, go work other places. I mean, I would recommend to anybody to go out and like see as much as you can.
Yeah.
I mean, in
Cool.
anything, but especially in an industry that is, for me, I view it as a more of a trade,
Okay.
just the way that I learn. A lot more hands on, and there's a lot of tradition in it as well. The biology is nice, and it goes a lot further when you're kind of going a different direction than I did, opening my own business.
Yeah.
Uh, and the small production winemaking we're doing is much more of an artisan approach than like a chemist approach.
Okay.
So a lot more touch, feel, taste uh, methods than, I'm not running a bunch of labs and using that data and then making, decisions off of that.
Right. Right. And yeah, I love it. I love it because like what you're describing is it's not a skill that you can just like put your finger on and define, right? And I love that about entrepreneurship and the stuff that you guys do, because the way that you position Rustique, only Chad and Sarah could do, right? I don't think anyone else could put your flavor of what you do on your product, because that is an intangible that's only for Chad. And not to get too deep into the weeds here, but I work a corporate job, right? So I'm like behind the screen all day typing away. And don't get me wrong, I like what I do. It's fine. But when you mentioned like you were always into like the craft part of things, like using your hands, building fences, I'd be interested to hear more about that. But for me personally, like nowadays, I enjoy those type of things, like cutting grass, you know what I mean? Like working on
Yeah,
the,
no, I mean, not cutting grass it could be a meditative thing, right? Where you can
yep,
kind of check out and zone in and get into it. And yeah, no, totally. I mean, anything to really just focus on one thing and not be distracted by all these other things that you have in your head is pretty cool.
100%. Like, even just in a microcosm, like, if I open up this computer screen right here, there's probably like 50 tabs open, right? Like there's like all these different things that are going. And sometimes, it's like I just want to unplug and go like hammer some shit, dude. I just want to like, just build something really quickly, because like you said, you have to be so focused in the moment. And early on, I didn't really realize that, but there's like a high you get from it, right? There's like an adrenaline rush that you get from being so focused in the moment. And I'm looking to get kind of more of that in my life. And that's part of the reason I do this and connect with people, right? Just to hear those things, to constantly reinforce it. But
Yeah, that's cool, man.
you know what I mean? But as we go deeper into that specific topic, right? So when you think about I know you work with Dennis on a lot of stuff. When you think about something new, when you say, "Hey, look, I got a new Pinot Noir coming right down the pike," what does the excitement start with? Where's the idea like sprout from, and then how do you make it like blossom into this product and this thing that appears on this website that I can buy and it's bottled and packaged? You know what I mean? I hope I'm making sense with that
No,
question.
totally. I mean, there's a lot of like forward thinking needed in this industry. So I mean, where do you get excited? There's a lot of different like avenues I could go down there, but let's just even start like in February when we go through and we prune the vineyard. So we're making big decisions for the whole growing season, which is ultimately going to, um, give you the quality fruit that you're looking for you to then take that craft over that period of time during the growing season and then make a wine out of it. So um, we just got done doing a bunch of vineyard work. We went through and just really manicured it, and there's things like that get me super excited. And
Yeah,
it's kind of a seasonal thing. You're like, all right, I'm kind of overgrowing. It's getting a little stressful. Boom, go into the winery, and it's like everything's fermenting and smells amazing, and
yeah.
I'm just bumping music, and it's kind of a different thing.
I love it, man. That's dope, dude. That sounds like a good vibe, man. Like
So I
yeah, good.
guess, sorry, I kind of went off on a little bit of a tangent there, but I guess
You're
the
good.
the thing that really drives me is that it's the constant search for, like, you know, you have that multiple lines that really kind of like hit you and you're like, wow, like can I do something that I make that fits me that way? You're on that constant search because we start our growing season in March here. Typically on this property, we're harvesting late September,
Yeah.
and then there's a lot of variables that could happen to the just over the course of the growing season in that time frame, that you you have a vision of the craft that you want to make, and sometimes it doesn't go that way, and you have to be able to adapt and make the best wine that you can with that growing season, which is what we're trying to do, right? Like
Yeah.
you come here and you have the lineup of the four different Pinots. It's the four vintage vertical, um, small lot production, all from the same vineyard, same winemaker. We're not going for a consistent product. We're just trying to create a wine that best represents our property with the growing season that was given to us. So,
Wow. No, that's amazing. And I love that. That's like a perfect segue because I was wondering like your brand, right? Rustique, Chad, Sarah is like what is it, right? Like what is it that you put your staple on? Now, like when I go to a lot of different wines, right? Like you were saying, some wineries, some vineyards you go to are very about like the chemistry behind it, right? They'll take you to their those huge pots where they're fermenting and they got all that good infrastructure in there and that's part of the experience. Now, from what I was seeing at your property, it seems like it's like the land is very important to you guys, right? It is like making sure the land is giving you the foundation and the fruit, and you cultivate the land the most. I could be wrong with that, right? I could be totally off, but there's a different level of respect that you guys have given to the land itself and the property itself. And it seems to be rewarding you in return for that type of care. Like, again, I could be totally wrong. That's just like how I see it, but correct me if I'm wrong, man.
really spot on with that. Something that we try to keep ourselves obsessed about. My mom was a huge influence on that side of things. Loved biology and
Chad, you're just breaking up a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, you want to say something there? So I'm not hearing any of the audio come through.
better.
There we go. Well, you're
Okay,
back. Yeah, I
cool.
can edit that out, so it's all good, man.
Okay, yeah, no worries. Yeah, so being raised out here, and coming in, uh, playing in the dirt, finding snakes and tarantulas and frogs and all that stuff. Um, there's something special about it, and I mean that is your foundation, right?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
you could get caught up with the whole like business side of things, but if you don't take care of your foundation, then you don't really have something that you are get to market, or for us, that you're super passionate about.
Totally, totally. It's yeah, again, it's like kind of like taking care of your soul, man. Like, if you're not doing that self-care as a human being, then your output is not going to be good, right? Like everything you emanate into the world is going to be like a little bit toxic or maybe a little bit tainted if you're not taking care of what's inside there. And I completely resonate with that. Now, in terms of some of the specific techniques that you guys use to, cultivate the foundation, take care of the land, like what does that look like for you? What are some of the things that you do just to make sure, hey, this property is going to give me the best of the best?
Totally. Right now we're kind of in this transition, right? So we have, a lot of farm ground around us, and the majority of the vineyards right now, I guess all of them, are conventionally farmed. So we would like to make that lifestyle change where we're doing things, um, with the intention to give back, replenish the soil and the property. Um, but we're not quite there yet.
Okay.
But we're always cleaning up the property. We got cattle in the hills, so let the grass grow, for a while. They just threw them out there, and they'll be out there for maybe 4 months. So, um, they'll eat all the grass down, and you'll have some of that regenerative, stuff going on up in the hills. But
Nice, man. And I like that, right? Because the ecosystem has shit in place for it to really like do its own thing, like all you got to do is kind of like shepherd it to, give it what you need.
Mhm.
And, again, it's such a good life lesson because I feel like we as humans, we have this need to just like intervene, man. We need to go like faster and better and stronger and, more and more and more. And it's like, dude, the earth will give us things if we just allow it to, you know what I mean? Like we don't have to go destroy the earth just to get what we need from it, And that's another reason I love winemaking because like, again, yes, I like drinking wine. I like buzzing on wine, man. But it's more like you were describing earlier, like a spiritual experience, And I don't know, I don't want to get too deep into it if you're not comfortable sharing, but I don't know how religious you are or not. I'm not super religious, but things like this make me kind of believe, right? They make me believe in spiritual experiences when I hear about like how you care for the land and how you care for what you do. And like even people like other entrepreneurs I talk to, right? They have such a spiritual experience with what they do, and it becomes like going to the altar, right? Or sorry, going, what I mean, going to church, going to
Yeah,
wherever you're going to, it
definitely.
just
And
becomes that
I
way.
resonate with that. I am also not religious myself, but um, there's a definite connection and a tie that I feel with the property and just I mean the whole this whole area
Yeah. Yeah,
or
man.
anywhere I go. You know, my mom's side of the family, they're all up in Idaho, and we grew up going up there, and I, I just definitely have that connection with the earth. But
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
actually headed to Idaho in a couple of weeks, man.
sweet.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. Me and my buddy are going out there to do a couple of like hikes and whatnot. And I hear they have like a lot of good breweries and steak and stuff like that out there. So, I'm if after we get off, man, if you got any recommendation, holler at your boy, dude. I'm happy to learn.
Yeah, where are you? I'm going in a couple weeks too. So
I'm headed that August 14th weekend.
okay, I'll be
Yeah.
there the 2 weekends before you.
Okay. Oh man, so we'll just miss each other. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, you still got family out there?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I had no idea. I used to think Idaho was like kind of like by South Dakota and North Dakota, I was like, oh man, this is a bogus state, dude. I don't want to go there. But like once I found out it was like right next to Oregon, I was like, oh dude, I'm definitely going there now because they
Yeah.
probably got the mountains and everything like that. I've been trying to binge a bunch of Netflix documentaries on Idaho and whatnot, dude. Um, but like I said, how did you grow up in Idaho?
No. So I grew up here, but
You grew up here.
we'd go up there every summer and
Yeah.
in a lot of winters. So visit the family. We have a cabin out in southwestern Idaho,
Yeah.
in Hagerman. But yeah, it's the gem state, man. It's got a whole bunch of hidden gems. So
Yeah, man. And like I'll say a lot of the states like Oregon, even California, Washington, Idaho, dude, their state website is decked out. Like if you look at Illinois' website, dude, I'm pretty sure we don't even have one. Like it's like what, go to a suburb maybe in Illinois, you know what I'm saying? But like if
yeah,
you if
I
you
mean, I
go
haven't looked at those websites, but that's interesting. I'll have to check them out.
Yeah, check them out, dude. So like the Idaho website, it's like idaho.gov or something. It'll plan out like road trips for you. It'll tell you about like all like food, hikes, outdoor activities and things like that. And I'm like, dude, I
That's
don't even really
awesome.
need to plan it. I could just go on this website and pick and choose, you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
anywho,
that's rad.
yeah, man, it's dope, bro. But anyway, we're getting off topic there. But in terms of let's come back to Rustique, man. I see you doing your thing, like you're saying. You got events out there, comedy show coming up. What's next? What's next for Rustique, man? Like, what are some of your strategic items and like where you want to take it?
So Rustic is kind of two businesses in one. So I am doing all the farming now and the winemaking, and then the business side of things, the tasting room and all that. And then my sister Sarah is doing all the event coordinating.
Oh,
So
nice.
um, I think in the our short term goal on that side would probably be to try to like build ourselves up and be an actual like music venue and
Oh,
kind of
nice.
build a name there locally.
Yeah.
Um, big music fans, love live music.
Yeah, dude.
And there's not a whole lot that Salinas offers with some of the bigger bands, and we would
Yeah.
always be going to Santa Cruz or San Francisco and stuff like that. So to be able to snag some bands on the way south or north and get some stuff going here would be a lot of fun.
That's dope, man. And because it's like your property is so cool, because like the bar you're sitting at is real nice. You know what I mean? Got the rustic vibes, and then you
Yeah.
got the outdoor patio with the string lights and everything that looks amazing in the sunset, dude. It's like so gorgeous. The pictures on Instagram are amazing, and just firsthand going there. I got this couple that's like that a good friend of mine and his fiance. I'm trying to get them to get married at your property so badly, bro. I'm like, let me come back out there, dude.
Yeah.
Give me a reason.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, man. Dude, I'm rooting for you guys. But in terms of like the event coordination and things like that, is it tough to get people like bands and stuff and to come out? And the main reason I say that is because the location is a little bit like it's a little bit remote, you know what I mean? So do you find that being a struggle to like get folks to come out, or are people like, yo, I'm trying to be at Rustique and perform?
I think it's it's not as hard as you would think to get
Okay.
the people out here.
Yeah.
We are 10 miles from 68, which will take you
Oh.
from Salinas into Monterey. So like if I just shoot into South Salinas, it takes me 15 minutes. And then we're 3 miles from the 101.
Oh,
So
nice.
if you just take that Chuar exit, we're right here. So it's kind of that like perfect blend of you come out here, you feel like you're getting away. It's far enough away, but close enough to town where you could feel like you disconnected, and you're just out here having a good time, and then you
Yeah.
can just shoot back into town. So I think location wise, we're in a good spot.
Yeah, yeah, you guys hit the sweet spot now that you described it that way. Like when I did my tour with the what was it, the Monterey wine tours,
Uh-huh.
we didn't drive far at all. It was probably like from Monterey, it's probably like you said, like 15-20 minutes from downtown
Yeah, it's
Monterey to get over.
like 45 probably,
Oh,
but
okay, yeah, I mean, I was.
that's we're kind of used to that. Like everywhere. I mean, maybe it's just because I live out here, but I feel like anywhere I go to, it's about 30 minutes,
Oh, I see. I
25.
see. Yeah, it
Yeah.
felt like it wasn't that long, because like when they pick you up, they give you some wine and stuff. So we're having fun
Perfect.
in the car,
Yeah.
we're doing our thing, and before you know it, we're up at your place. So they do it. Dude, I've never had an experience like that, by the way, dude. That is prime time. Getting picked up and dropped off, because
Yeah.
nobody's trying to drive after we're over at Rustique. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, no. Leave safe. We're happy.
Yeah, no, for sure, dude. But what have been some of your like favorite functions and events at Rustique so far?
um, the grand opening was always a memorable one.
Yeah.
Kind of the first time like a step was taken from a lifelong conversation that I've been a part of with the
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
So it's always a good feeling when it's like we're done talking about it, like we're doing it.
We're doing it.
So that was a really good um, feeling. And then I mean, the events have just been getting more and more, popular. More people are coming around.
Yeah, dude.
It's rewarding to see the community that you grew up in, and their like families coming out here and having a good time. People that you grew up with, and then also showing people what we have out here in the backyards. A lot of people don't know about this region.
Yeah.
Um, but there was one concert that we had. It's kind of one of those epic ones where I met this band up in Idaho while I was traveling up there, and got their information. Said, hey, whenever if you ever come through California, like hit us up and we'll put a show on for you guys. So
That's
they
awesome.
did. It was our first like public night concert, and a bunch of people showed up. We really don't get that much rain here, unfortunately, but
Yeah.
I had the stage set up outside, and the the guy looked at me. He's like, "Man, I don't want to play outside. Everywhere we play, it rains. Like
Oh,
it's
they're
it's
bringing it with
not
them.
really." it's not gonna rain, dude. Like, let's go. And it rained on him
Oh.
like halfway through the set, and he was just doing this crazy guitar solo, and everybody ran out there, grabbed their equipment, pulled it inside, and it was like a downpour. They dried it off. We had to hang all of their merch up on the stair railing,
Yeah.
and the show is from 6 to 9, and they didn't dry everything off until probably like 9:45, and nobody left. And so
Wow.
they started up again, and they kept going until like 12:30. It was pretty wild,
Damn. That
and
is
everybody
amazing.
just it was like it was the start to this thing that we've been talking about, the music side of stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was just like an epic way to start it off.
Yeah,
So like,
man.
yeah, we should definitely make this a thing. So
Yeah, like what could have been just like a bust, like turned out to be probably one of the best nights ever. Like, isn't that awesome when that happens?
yeah, it was cool.
That's super cool, man. That's super cool. I love that because you were describing how like the people who supported you from when you started, like it's like if you get a handful of people, man, that just truly support you, dude, you're like pretty much invincible and unstoppable, and you can like the sky's the limit for you. And that night just kind of proved that point, right? Everyone's without thinking, rushing, grabbing equipment, dude. Let's get this inside. Let's keep this moving. We're not leaving. We're supporting Chad and Sarah here. I love that, man.
Yeah, it was a pretty special thing. And just to help the band get their equipment out from getting messed up, and like they just didn't leave. So it was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, man. Really, really cool, dude. Have you guys had any weddings out there yet?
We had we just had our first wedding through Rustique. So
Okay.
that was 2 weeks ago now. Um, so that was another big step for us, and
Yeah.
we actually have a wedding next week, and then another one in September. So
Wow. Dude, that you guys need to blow that up, man, because that's the first thing I thought of when I came to your property. I'm like, dude, like wedding vibes all around here, man. Like a
yeah,
perfect rustic night just to like get the lights up, man. And like, oh, dude, imagine getting married with that view you guys got, like, when the barn opens up and everything like that, dude. That is that's like a screensaver, dude. You know what I'm saying? That's like
yeah,
some.
no, it's really beautiful out here.
It's
It is.
gorgeous, man. It's gorgeous. I mean, I'm loving all the growth that you guys are having right now. Is there any like is there any like specific guest or music group in your mind that like, dude, you're gunning to try to get them over?
Yeah. One of the local bands, the Expendables. I don't know if you know the
I
Expendables. They're
don't. I'll have to look them
like
up.
that kind of like California reggae ska thing, but they're from Santa Cruz. Um, Grew up going to their shows, and they've been at all of the music festivals, and um, so that would be pretty sweet to get them out there. But
Nice.
I got a list of bands that I would love
Okay.
to see. Well, it's you kind of they're still dreams, but
Yeah, dude. Hey, man,
see where
that's what
we
you
can
got to
get
do. You
out.
got to dream, man. That's the whole reason you guys started what you started, right? It's like you do it
Yeah,
off a dream, make it come to life, man. And you never know, dude. Like with the way that your social media is looking, and the vibes that you're putting out, and the multiple avenues you guys are falling down, dude. Shit could pop off at any minute, man. Like you could get a big time celebrity over there, and that would be amazing for you guys, dude.
yeah, totally. I mean, it's weird how you dream about that stuff, and then when you put yourself out there, at the end of the day, it's just a conversation,
It's
you
just a
know,
conversation,
and
exact,
it's
dude.
a conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. As we talk a little bit about Monterey, man, is are you do you partner with any, like, I know you have the Monterey wine tours that come out to you. Do you guys partner with any of those like big names out in Monterey, like the aquarium or any of like the downtown restaurants or anything like that? Or is that on the horizon?
Uh, yeah, I think that's on the rising to get out there.
Yeah,
Right now we just have such small case production
I
that
gotcha.
um, I mean it's a good problem to have, but we're kind
Yeah.
of trying to keep everything until we can make some more wine. So we still have some stuff behind the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're with a couple like small local like local places, little tap houses, and the markets around here that do a really good job at just promoting locals. So, um, yeah.
Yeah, man. It's interesting because I'm asking these questions around like growth and strategy and things like that. And, the only reason I ask that because I always try to get into the brain of someone like yourselves and, just kind of see what makes them tick. But, from what I'm hearing, it's like, yeah, you got some things on the horizon, but like you always come back to the fact that you love wine making and wine itself. Right. And I think the folks that you are partnering with, like the bands that you're talking to, and you said the tap houses and everything like that, I'm assuming they're people who also just like love their craft. Like whether they were maybe making money from it or not, they'd probably be doing it. I don't know. Do you think that's true, man? Or am I totally off with that assumption?
No, I think most of the time I'm dealing with some pretty passionate people, whether it's about a craft or just the area that they live in or
Yeah.
the job that they're doing. Whether they're working for somebody that they believe in and they have, passion for that industry themselves.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, it's cool.
Dope. Dope. And so, in terms of your skill set, man, and like, you said, you seem like you continue to grow and continue to seek out right ways to grow. And I think that's amazing. But this is kind of an abstract question. So why is it important to you as Chad, to continue to challenge yourself? Like, why is that something that you continue to do and continue to embark upon and continue to put yourself in a situation where you might not know the answer?
Man. Because it's fun. It's
Yeah,
exciting.
that's all
Like
it has to be, dude.
I love life and I
Yeah,
just want
hell
to
yeah.
make the most out of it and enjoy myself and be surrounded by, you know, positive, passionate people, family members,
Yeah.
um, and just like kind of all come up together. But yeah, there's nothing more rewarding than overcoming a pretty big challenge. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and on the learning side, like I view myself as a forever learner, always
Yeah.
trying to explore and understand more things, and just connect dots and yeah.
Yeah, no, dude, you're fucking awesome, Chad. It's interesting because like, again, like, I live in Chicago here and I'm around like the same people, right? Because it's like I try to meet new people like, through this thing and understand what motivates people. But a lot of time you're around the same people. And I love the people I'm around, man. And I don't take anything away from them. But there's also, you meet a subset of people who are, they're okay. They're good where they're at, and that's fine. I'm happy if you found your passion, you're good to go. But I can't. I'm not there, right? I'm not there where I've like. I'm not willing to stop my pursuit anymore. I want to keep pursuing. I want to keep learning. I want to keep hearing new perspectives and things like that. And I don't think I'll ever stop, man. I don't think I'll ever stop. And I want to meet people who are like that because I don't personally want to be a winemaker, but what I do want to do is emulate some of that energy you're going, right? Like, hey, open space for creativity and that young boy energy, just keep hustling, grinding, moving, trying out new things. If you fail, don't be attached to that outcome, man. That's just a learning experience for yourself. You know what I mean? So I benefit a
Absolutely.
lot from these conversations, man. And, as much as you have shared with me, I've learned so much, but I look to hear things like what you're sharing, man. So again, I'm truly appreciative, man. And you've been really inspirational for me.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate you taking the time and reaching out to have these conversations, and um, I I think it's really cool what you're doing in that pursuit that you're on because that's what life's about, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And aside, so for a second, we'll step away from Rustique and the wine. What are some things that you do to balance yourself out, like to keep you driven, but also keep it that you're not always like in the wine all the time? Like, is it exercise? Is it reading? Is it, maybe traveling, going new places? Like, how do you stay balanced?
Um, I guess my two hobbies outside of winemaking, are surfing and skiing.
Oh,
So
dope. Yeah. Kind of
really
two
like
polar
to,
opposites there.
yeah, travel around and get to,
Yeah.
land and sea. It's it's pretty cool. I find both of them to be a constant um, challenge and a progressive thing.
Yeah.
Like I have like these little goals I have for myself in both of those sports that really pushes me. Um, and they're in elements that I don't get to control all the time, which is
Yeah.
cool. So I've got to like, respect Mother Nature in that sense.
I love it.
Um, but also the speed and adrenaline.
Dude, straight up,
Yeah.
man. Are you skiing? Do you ski out in Idaho? Is that a thing that
Yeah.
happens out there?
Yeah, there's a bunch of mountains in Idaho, Washington, Oregon, Montana. Like all the western states have amazing skiing. So
Yeah. Is
yeah,
it like does California have skiing?
California has great skiing.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
man, dude, you got to teach me a thing or two about that. I don't, dude, I don't know how to stop myself when I ski, bro. I just like run into something, and that's about all I got.
You gotta learn, man. You gotta learn somehow. That's all right. We all fall.
Yeah,
Some
man.
Sometimes it's fun.
Yeah, dude, for sure, man. How is the surfing out in on Monterey? Is it legit?
Yeah, there's some definitely really good surf spots. Typically in Monterey. So Santa Cruz has a lot more of that reef and rock shelf
Okay,
um, type of surfing where you have uh, I'm blanking on the word, like point breaks. So more kind of like organized surfing. Where
got
out
it.
here we have a lot of just beach breaks, so a little less organized. Um, but all up and down the California coast and the Central Valley, there's little pockets, and you can go still find a wave with you and a couple buddies and be out there all day by yourself and just hang out. So
That's awesome, man. That is so
cool.
cool, dude. Yeah, I love it. I love it because, I mean, how else do you get that bite for life without a little bit of adrenaline, right? How else do things taste better and like the breeze feels better if you don't got a little bit of adrenaline from time to time? You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally,
Straight up,
totally.
dude. I'm digging it, man. I'm learning a lot about Chad today, dude. You seem to be a pretty interesting dude, man. You're really soft spoken. When I spoke to you out in April, and even now, it's like you're a pretty chill guy. And again, aside from the surfing and some of the skiing, because right, you're on the property, and I guess it's a little bit of a trek to go skiing and surfing like every day. Is there any other like meditative techniques, like I said, anything else that you use to stay grounded? Because again, what I tell people is that focus that you have for, like, let's say even your winemaking, like anything that you do, that focus, I think it's a depletable resource, like I think it'll wean over time if you don't recharge. But is there techniques, man, get me into the brain of how Chad recharges and goes hard every day?
I honestly, I don't have a legit answer for that right
Sure.
now. I think it's something that I'm trying to learn
Okay.
more, to get more in touch with that side and kind of understand self better
Yeah.
in what it is that I actually need to recharge and how I recharge the best, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so I
Yeah,
don't
for
know.
sure.
Maybe in a couple years, if we do this again, I'll have a better answer. But
We'll definitely do it
I'm like
again.
actively, I guess, trying to figure out what my niche is and how that fits in for me.
Go.
So
No, yeah, dude, self-exploration is like a thing that, I mean, I'm happy that we both do it, because it's a thing that people just like go their whole lives without ever doing, like being self-aware. And I'm not saying this scenario ever happened, but let's say, like, you're trying to put together a new batch, right? And you might have been like trying to rush it or something like that, and you might have pulled the trigger on it, and it might have been not exactly what you were going for in terms of flavor profile, taste, whatever it might have been. And then you're like, oh man, dude, I should have chilled out on that a little bit more. I should have waited. I should have, whatever it might be. Do you see what I'm trying to get at? Has that ever happened
absolutely,
to
I
you?
think about that stuff all the time. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And like,
Uh,
is there ever like a lessons learned like that you do with yourself to like kind of be like, hey, Chad, chill out, man. Like you got to take your time with this. Anything like that inner dialogue?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, from a like a quick turnaround lesson where I have that conversation with myself would be, like surfing. Um,
Okay.
not reading the water as well as I wanted to, and not being able to like um, execute as well as I wanted to, and go back out there and like kind of calm myself down and like visualize it. But then even from like going on a little bit longer, um, like time span things with wine, where it's like you had that one shot that year, we get one harvest during what that vintage's growing season. So when something doesn't go quite as you wanted, or you made a decision and were able to like identify like, oh, okay, I could have done this and it would have, you know kind of gone more in the direction that I was thinking about,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you have to wait till next year to do it.
Yeah.
So but that's also part of that constant search
Yes.
for that, like that that one wine.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I love it, man. I love it. Now, as we wrap up here, man, so my question would be like, and I'll go first. So my question would be like, why Rustique? Like why Rustique for your wine choice, for your event, anything like that. My answer is the vineyard itself, the property is the most beautiful property like I think I've ever been on, right? Your presence and your sister's presence is so welcoming, so educational, so enthusiastic. It's contagious, so I would say Rustique for those specific reasons. That doesn't even have anything to do with the wine. The wine itself is amazing, right? Like it is probably some of the best wine I've ever had. And it tastes unique. It tastes unique to Rustique. So that's my answer for why Rustique, right? Now, if Chad were to give an answer, what would that answer be as to like why come to Rustique?
Why come to Rustique?
Yeah.
um well, I mean, I would tell people to come out here just to see, kind of the new generation that's
Sweet.
coming up out here.
Yeah.
Um, like you said, I like to be really informative about the wines and what we're doing out here. Um, it's a super special place. There's a lot
Yeah.
of history that we're trying to dig up from, you know, like papers way back in the day, and the family that was here before us. And it just it runs deep out here. My parents were both
Yeah.
entrepreneurs and like amazing hosts. So they taught us, how to have a good time, but also how to be humble and work really hard for the things that you want. And yeah, it's just a good vibe out here, man. I just
Love
want
it.
to share our story, and um, the story of Salinas, and
Yeah.
how things have played out for us to be able to be here and do what we're so fortunate to be able to do. So
Amazing. Amazing. Yeah, no, you can definitely feel the familial vibes in the air when you're at the property. And what I'll recommend to anybody who's listening is do this guided tour that Monterey offers and make sure Rustique is one of the stops, because it'll blow it out of the water, man. So like, as much as I can, I'll try to help spread that message as well, dude, because again, there's something in the air out there. You got to feel the breeze out there, man. It's different. It's clean, good air, get that in your lungs, get some wine in there, man, and enjoy the day at Rustique, because it's truly a one of a kind experience, man. I really appreciate you doing this with me, man. It's been so beneficial. And, thanks for sharing your story, homie.
yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on here. Thanks for taking the time to do this. And I'm really glad that when you came, that's how you felt, and you took a piece of that with you, because that's what we're trying to spread,
Yes, sir.
happiness, love, and good wine.
My man, I appreciate you.